Hello, BookTube. I have a little mail haul to share with you with 3 books. Not there. A lot more books came today, but on the weekend, at the last minute, out of nowhere, I was given a mountain of work to do, and the editor who did it was very nice about it and said, this all needs to be done instantly, and I'm willing to pay you accordingly. And would you maybe, because you all know by now, if you've been watching this channel, my answer is yes. No matter what, my answer is yes. So I'm socked. I'm socked with work to do. So I haven't had a chance to glom over books at all, much less share them with you. But because it's urgent and ultra deadline, it'll be over tomorrow. So we'll have all the time in the world tomorrow. So let's see what we have here. And we start with something thin and incredibly light, and we work through something a little heavier, and then a box. So this is the thin and incredibly light. Let's see what this is. It has to be a tiny little thing. Oh, it is a tiny little thing. Okay. Okay. All right, this is from Yale. This comes out in April. I don't think I recognize it at all. It's called Migrant Brothers, A Poet's Declaration of Human Dignity by Patrick Chamoiseau. You can't really make it out in this lighting. He was the author of Texaco, which I believe I read. What on earth is it, though? A powerful call to recognize immigrants as kin from one of the Caribbean's most influential literary voices. So this is nonfiction, then? It's as thousands upon thousands of migrants embark on perilous journeys across oceans and deserts in pursuit of sanctuary and improving living conditions, what is the responsibility of those already safely ensconced in the nations they seek to enter? Moved by repeated tragedies among immigrants attempting to enter Eastern and Southern Europe, the author issues a searing lyric critique of the hypocrisy and detachment that allowed these events to happen. Okay. He delivers a fervent, urgent declaration of our essential interconnectedness and the necessity to see one another as part of a single human community, regardless of national origin. Well, okay, but okay, I'll read it and I'll see what he has to say. But I get the impression that he's a formidable thinker. But those 2 last sentences seem to take as their background implication that the migrants aren't doing anything wrong. And that really what this is a kind of a scold towards the indigenous people. What was it that he said? What was it? Yeah, repeated tragedies among immigrants attempting to enter Eastern and Southern Europe. I know a lot of those tragedies, and a lot of them were caused by the immigrants. I agree completely that the 21st century has lost the idea of welcoming the stranger. The essential idea of all human civilization, that as long as there's been human civilization, that strangers are sacred, that the helpless who wash up on your shore need sanctuary. There's a reason why literature and religions, going back as long as we've ever known them, as long as they've ever been able to say anything about themselves, had said that if you encounter that poor refugee washed up on your shore who needs only your help and you don't give it, the gods are watching, and you're in their crosshairs. There's a reason why every culture has said that. It's because it's simple humanity. You never know when you might be that person. But there's a flip side. When Odysseus shows up alone and literally naked on an alien shore after his voyages are over, when any figure like that in literature does that, the number one thing they are is humble. They abase themselves. I am a supplicant on your mercy. And the 21st century has lost the idea of the sacredness of the immigrant, but I think that the general coarseness and stupidity of the 21st century also afflicts some immigrants who've lost that sense of, I've lost everything. I need your help, and I'm willing to work to get it. I'm willing to be humble to get it. I'm not coming here demanding things of you. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm not coming here demanding things of you. I'm in no position to demand things of you. I'm asking for your help. it seems to me in some immigrant stories that I read that is gone as well, that both sides of the coin have worsened in the 21st century. But it strikes me that this book is going to teach me a lot about that. Maybe my assumptions are wrong. Uh, uh, let me hailed as a hymn to hospitality and tolerance. Good. Following publication of its original French edition, this timely yet timeless manifesto cuts through the political noise to remind us of the oft-ignored, irrevocable human dignity that we all share. Okay, I kind of like the sound of that. When did the French edition come out? Oh, well, it came out in 2009. So, all right. So, interesting. And it's just, I don't know, you can't tell, but it's a series of very short chapters. Okay, a little book called Migrant Brothers about immigration and the plight of the immigrant. Okay, that's fascinating. All right, and then let's see what this next one is. Oh, great! I requested this. This sounded so fascinating. This is by James Aldred, and it's called "The Man Who Climbed Trees." And you're thinking, if you spent too much time loitering around literary fiction, you're going to think that's some sort of metaphor. But it's not a metaphor. It's just a simple truth. It's a book about a guy who climbs trees. It's a prolific tree climber encounters gorillas, snakes, spiders, and birds of prey, as well as answers and perspective, hundreds of feet up all around the world. As a wildlife cameraman for the BBC and National Geographic, the author spends his working life high up in trees, poised to capture key moments in the lives of wild animals and birds. Aldred's climbs have taken him to the most incredible and majestic trees in existence. In Borneo, home to the tallest tropical rainforest on the planet, just getting a rope up into the 250-foot tall trees is a challenge. In Venezuela, even body armor isn't guaranteed protection against the razor-sharp talons of a nesting harpy eagle. In Australia, the peace of being lulled to sleep in a hammock 25 stories above the ground after a grueling day of climbing and filming is broken by a midnight storm that threatens to topple the tree. Tell me you don't want to read this guy's adventures. He spends his life climbing trees for a living. So I can't. This comes out in the spring. Yeah, this comes out in May. I really want to review this for as big an audience as possible. It sounds wonderful. Of course, I'll read it first, see if he completely drops the ball. But it seems to me that he wouldn't. So this is the Man Who Climbed Trees, the requisite ugly American cover. It's in black. Do you think of black trees? Have you ever seen a black tree? And if you squint really hard, you can see the person who's described in the title. Or maybe not. Maybe that's just a branch. But anyway, the book itself sounds fascinating. I was offered a park ranger in Northern California offered once to help me up a redwood, and we were in this redwood stand in the middle of nowhere, far away from the tree. From those roads where you can drive your car through the tree, far away from there. We were in bear country, and that's all I was thinking about. And he said, we've got a pulley and a harness and a winch and all. We go up these trees all the time. Wait till you see the view. You won't believe the feeling of being up that high off the ground. Here, let's go. And I said, I'd rather stick with the bears, thanks. We saw no bears on that trip, and I did, of course, not winch myself up 250 feet into a redwood. Of course I did not do that. It wasn't an idyllic trip, though, because, of course, 2 days after he made that offer, I got zapped by a rattlesnake. Anyway, now we're on to the box. We'll finish this up with the box. Have any of you ever done that? I mean, gone way, way up into a tree? On one of it's ecotourism. That's a big thing with them now. The pulley system where you can go up into a tree and maybe zip around between trees at some astonishing height and see the animals that live up there. Have you ever done that? I couldn't possibly do it. Fortunately, I don't have to because I have Planet Earth. I have this guy's work where you go up there and you see flowers that exist only there. You see bats that never come, not only to the ground, they never come even 100 feet down from the level of the canopy where they live. So you've got whole species of bats that have evolved and live and hunt and breed and die on one level of the canopy. And then on a lower level, it's a different population of bats, and they never meet each other, and they don't go from one place to the other, and none of them ever go to the ground. That's just amazing. Anyway, what is this big thing here? What's it? Oh. Okay. Well, it's only 3 books, but we have a Steve book. Oh my. Oh goodness. All right. This is from Princeton. This is in paperback. This is Empire and Revolution. I'm sure we'll all recognize that face. He has a booktube channel of his own. This is The Political Life of Edmund Burke by Richard Bork. Oh my. Oh goodness gracious. Oh, this is so nice of Princeton. I saw the TLS gave the paperback release of this thing an enormous and wonderful review. And I saw that and realized that I didn't have a copy, and I asked the folks at Princeton, and they sent it to me. They're so nice. Oh my God. Okay. Oh. All right. All right, this is actually torture, because when I'm finished with this video, I have to go right back to work. Researching and writing about the Pakistani Secret Service. It's about as far away from Edmund Burke as you can get. And now all I want to do is read this, and I can't, because I absolutely can't. I have to leave this until tomorrow at the earliest, or maybe the day after that. Oh my God, look at this. It's got huge footnotes at the bottom of every page. Oh. All right, well, anyway, we can make a pyramid. I can't enjoy it, but we can at least make one. So there's Revolution and Empire and Revolution, The Political Life of Edmund Burke. There's The Man Who Climbed Trees, which is about a man who climbs trees for a living. And there's Migrant Brothers, a little pamphlet from 2009 about the duty that all of us owe to immigrants, to supplicants. I think that's fascinating. I don't know. There's a vibe I get off it that I like. I don't like most of the discussion that is in the news about migrants and refugees. Both sides of the ideological spectrum tend to annoy me when they pontificate on news shows about that subject. But there's a vibe off here that I like. I think I might end up really liking this book. I will report back. So that's our little pyramid for now, and I've got to go. BookTube, I've got to get back to work. I hate it, but I do. If at moments like this, when there's just this mound of work and I have to do it, because the alternative would be the unthinkable. The alternative would be letting an editor down. At moments like this, when it happens like this, I just remind myself, you could be going to work every day. you could have one of those horrible soul-crushing jobs that I've had in my past. Maybe not the job itself, but the people, the customers. I've had jobs like that. A lot of you have jobs like that, and I don't, and I'm very grateful for that. So if that means occasionally there's a bottleneck of work, that's fine with me. It just means I have to neglect you, and that's not good. But I'll be back. I'll be back tomorrow, regardless. Or as President Bush used to say, irregardless. I think we'll do a library tour. And I also got, on Twitter, one of you made a suggestion for a starter kit, a roundup video. I want to get back into starter kits. I love the idea. So I'm plenty of ideas. But first, the ISI. First, back to the ISI. So I will see you on the other side. Thank you, BookTube.